If you've ever tried setting boundaries with a narcissist and it didn't work, or it made things worse, or it left you feeling confused, guilty, or exhausted, I want you to pause for a moment, because before we talk about boundaries, there's something you need to hear first. You didn't fail. You weren't doing it wrong, and there is nothing wrong with you for feeling discouraged. Most survivors are taught about boundaries in a way that simply does not apply when narcissistic abuse is involved. And that misunderstanding can quietly keep you stuck. If this feels tender to hear, that's okay. Let's slow this down together. Many people are taught that setting a boundary means saying something like, "Please don't talk to me like that. You can't treat me this way. I need you to respect me." And on the surface, that sounds healthy. With emotionally safe people, it often is. But with a narcissist, those words don't land the same way. They aren't received as boundaries. They're received as something else, as a challenge, as a negotiation, as an opening to argue, as an opportunity to shift the focus back onto you. And slowly, without realizing it, you end up explaining yourself again, and again, and again. And maybe you've wondered, why doesn't this work? Why do they keep crossing the line? Why do I leave every conversation feeling worse? If that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not because your boundaries weren't strong enough. It's because the definition you were given was incomplete. Here's the part that often changes everything. A boundary is not about controlling someone else's behavior. It's not about convincing them to understand. It's not about getting them to agree. And it's not about making them stop. A boundary is about what you will do when a certain behavior happens. It's about your response, your actions, your limits, not theirs. That might sound subtle, but with narcissists, it's the difference between clarity and exhaustion. For example, a boundary is not, "Don't yell at me." A boundary is, "If yelling starts, I will leave the conversation." A boundary is, "Please stop insulting me." A boundary is, "If insults happen, I will end this call." Notice the shift. There's no request, no explanation, no emotional appeal, just a quiet decision. And this is where many survivors feel uneasy, because we were taught that boundaries should be explained, that being clear means being verbal, that if someone doesn't understand, we should try harder. But narcissists don't struggle with understanding boundaries. They struggle with losing access. So when a boundary is announced instead of enforced, it often becomes something to test, or push, or punish. If you've ever felt like setting a boundary made things escalate, that wasn't your imagination. That was the boundary revealing the dynamic. There's also something else that comes up for many survivors, a deep fear of being rude, of being cold, or of being unfair. You might think, am I being harsh? Am I overreacting? Should I explain one more time so they don't misunderstand? But here's something important to gently notice. You are worried about being perceived as rude by someone who repeatedly crosses your emotional boundaries without concern. That imbalance didn't start with you. It was learned. Boundaries feel uncomfortable not because they're wrong, but because they interrupt patterns where your needs were secondary. And when those patterns are challenged, guilt often surfaces, not because you're doing harm, but because you're doing something new. If boundaries haven't worked for you in the past, I want to offer a reframe. What if the boundary did work by showing you who was unwilling to respect it? That kind of clarity can feel painful at first, but it's not failure, it's information. And one more thing, because this matters, If your boundary requires the other person to cooperate in order to exist, it's not really a boundary. It's a request, and requests can be ignored. Boundaries are lived. If you're listening to this and feeling a mix of relief and sadness, that makes sense. Relief because something finally fits. Sadness because you may realize how much energy you spent trying to be understood by someone who benefited from misunderstanding you. Be gentle with yourself there. You were doing the best you could with the information you had. In the next video, we're going to slow this down even more. We'll talk about what real boundaries actually look like with a narcissist, not in theory, but in real life, quietly, safely, without guilt. You don't need to become harder. You don't need to explain better. You just need a boundary that protects you. If something in this video helped you feel a little clearer or helped you stop blaming yourself, you don't need to do anything with that right now. Just notice it. And if you want to continue this conversation, the next video gently walks through what real boundaries actually look like without confrontation, guilt, or explaining. You're welcome to join when it feels right. If this kind of calm, reflective support feels helpful, you can subscribe to After the Abuse. There's no pressure to keep up. These videos are here whenever you need them.